If you want to go fast in 2026, you are being told that you have to pay a premium. Ford wants $65,000 for a new Mustang Dark Horse. Dealers are marking them up to $75,000. For that money, you get a heavy car, a digital dashboard that looks like an iPad glued to the dash, and a monthly payment that looks like a mortgage. If you finance that Mustang at today's interest rates, you will end up paying nearly $90,000 by the time the loan is paid off. That is financial suicide for a car that will depreciate by 40% in 3 years. But the smart money, the mechanics, the track rats, and the people who actually understand vehicle dynamics are ignoring the dealership completely. They are buying this. It has a legendary V8 engine. It gets 30 miles per gallon on the highway. It hits 175 miles per hour, and you can buy it today in good condition for $15,000. Today, I am going to show you why the C5 Chevrolet Corvette is the greatest performance bargain on the planet, and why it makes the new Mustang look like a bloated scam. Let's really look at the competition. The new S650 Mustang GT. It is a capable car, but it has a massive problem. Weight. The new Mustang weighs nearly 4,000 pounds. To put that in perspective, that is heavier than some SUVs from the 1990s. Physics is a law you cannot break. Heavy cars destroy tires. Heavy cars cook their brakes. Heavy cars feel numb in the corners. In the interior, it's all touchscreens. You have to navigate through 3 menus just to change the exhaust mode. If that screen breaks in 10 years, or if the software stops getting updates, the car is effectively totaled. You are paying for gadgets, not driving pleasure. Now look at the C5 Corvette, built from 1997 to 2004. This was a clean sheet design that revolutionized General Motors. It weighs 3,200 pounds. That is nearly 800 pounds lighter than the new Mustang. Imagine driving a Mustang with 4 heavy adults sitting in the passenger seats. That's the weight difference. Because the Corvette is so light, it accelerates harder, stops shorter, and changes direction instantly. It uses hydraulic power steering, which gives you actual feedback from the road, unlike the numb electric steering found in modern cars. You feel connected to the machine, not isolated from it. Under the hood is the engine that changed the world, the 5.7-liter LS1 V8. It makes 350 horsepower. Now, I know what you're thinking. The new Mustang has 480 horsepower. It's way faster. But horsepower is only half the equation. You have to look at the power-to-weight ratio. Because the Corvette is so much lighter, it keeps up with modern cars that have 100 more horsepower. And the LS1 is simple. It uses push rods. It is cheap to fix. You can buy water pumps, alternators, and belts at any auto parts store for pennies because it shares architecture with millions of Chevy Silverado pickup trucks. It is a race car engine with a work truck work ethic. And here's the statistic that blows people's minds. Because of its incredibly slippery aerodynamics and tall gearing in 6th gear, the C5 Corvette gets 30 miles per gallon on the highway. A new Mustang struggles to get 22. You save $50,000 on the purchase price, and you save money at the pump every single week. It is the ultimate daily driver for a car enthusiast. Now, you have to be careful. While the C5 Corvette is reliable, the used sports car market is a minefield. There are other cheap cars that look tempting, but are financial nightmares. The BMW 335i creates huge repair bills when the turbos fail. The Maserati Ghibli is a financial black hole that depreciates to 0. If you buy the wrong fun car, you will lose your savings instantly. I listed every money pit sports car in the 2025 used car blacklist. Before you buy a fun car, check the list to see the specific engines and transmissions that mechanics refuse to work on. Download it right now at the link below to make sure you aren't buying a ticking time bomb. The C5 has a secret weapon that the Mustang can only dream of. It is called a transaxle. In a Mustang, the engine and transmission are both in the front. This makes the nose of the car heavy. It wants to understeer or plow forward in a corner. The Corvette engineers did something different. They put the engine in the front, but they moved the transmission to the rear axle. They connected them with a massive aluminum torque tube. This gives the C5 a perfect 50-50 weight distribution. It is perfectly balanced. It dances through corners. It rotates around the driver. It feels like a race car because it is a race car chassis. It uses double wishbone suspension on all four corners, not the cheap McPherson struts found on the Mustang or the BMW. This is exotic car engineering for the price of a used Honda Civic. However, I have to be honest with you, the C5 isn't perfect. It is a 20-year-old GM product, and it has specific weak points you need to check before buying. First is the Electronic Brake Control Module, or EBCM. On the early models from 1997 to 2000, this ABS computer is prone to failure. The bad news? You cannot buy new ones. They are discontinued. You have to send yours out to a specialist to be rebuilt or find a used one for $800. If you can, try to buy a 2001 to 2004 model to avoid this specific headache. Second, check the harmonic balancer. The rubber that holds the crank pulley together degrades over time. It starts to wobble. If you look at the engine idling and see the main pulley wobbling, walk away or negotiate $1,000 off the price. If it fails, it throws the belt and you lose power steering and cooling. Third, the column lock issue. GM installed a security feature that locks the steering wheel when the car is off. Sometimes it gets stuck and won't unlock, leaving you stranded. Smart owners install a column lock bypass kit. It costs about $50 and takes 20 minutes to install. Check if the previous owner did this. And finally, the interior. We have to talk about it. It is cheap GM plastic. The seats rock back and forth under acceleration because the rubber bushings wear out. The buttons feel like a TV remote from the 90s. The cup holder is useless. But you have to ask yourself, do you want a nice interior or do you want a driving experience? For $15,000, you are buying the chassis and the engine. You aren't buying it to rub the dashboard. You're buying it to drive. If you really don't want a V8 or you're scared of an older American car, there is one other option. The Nissan 370Z. It uses the VQ37 V6. It is bulletproof, unlike the terrible CVT transmissions found in their SUVs. It's fun, it's fast, and it's reliable. But here's the reality. It is heavier than the Corvette, it is slower than the Corvette, and because the V6 has to work so hard, it actually gets worse gas mileage. The Corvette is simply in a league of its own. The C5 Corvette is the last affordable supercar. Prices have hit the bottom of the curve and are starting to go up. People are realizing that they don't make cars like this anymore. Lightweight, naturally aspirated, and analog. Don't spend $65,000 on a Mustang just to lose $20,000 in depreciation the moment you drive off the lot. Buy the legend. Drive it for free. The LS1 V8 in the Corvette is legendary, but there are other engines that last even longer. Watch this video to see the 7 engines that are guaranteed to hit 500,000 miles.